launch control figure just decimated the figure set by the new M5, and that is in a 2.6 ton 802 V8 version of the world's best-selling luxury car. How could you not be intrigued? And stick with me and I'll share exactly what that figure was in a moment. And with that rapid start, guys, welcome to a new series on RBR called Rapid Reviews. A short and sharp take on your favorite cars. And we're kicking things off with the S-Class AMG, a car that started the AMG story and over the years has been a total contradiction. On the one side, complete S-Class luxury, and on the other side, the dark side of AMG performance. And our new one takes that formula and pushes it to insane levels in this V8 hybrid beast set to replace both the S63 and the S65. And how did AMG achieve this? To explain that, let's go and deconstruct the S63 together. So guys, it's really the S-Class that was the founding vehicle of AMG, back with Alfred Melker's famous 6.8 litre racing red pig. And ever since then, we've had a strong lineage in every generation of S-Class of an S-AMG. Whether it was the old 300 SEL 6.3 or the treasured yet nonsensical V12s in the S65s, now leading to today's car, the impossibly powerful 802 horsepower hybrid AMG S63. So what we've always had is a big thumping AMG engine for that AMG DNA, then on the other side, full S-Class luxury, which no other car in class can really match. And it's never really had a rival from Audi or BMW either. Now our previous car, still hugely powerful, 604 horsepower, 900 Newton meters of torque, either 4MATIC or rear wheel drive, a great car. But this one maintains that with the same engine, but then builds upon it with a 200 horsepower hybrid P3 system sitting in the rear. And it's really clever because in this one unit sitting on the rear axle, you've got your electric motor, you've got the limited slip differential, and you've got a 2-speed gearbox, all sitting on the rear axle. And with that is the F1 derived performance battery. And all of this together adds up to 802 horsepower, over 1400 Newton meters of torque, and then you get a crazy 0 to 60 of 3.3 seconds, where this car is actually even faster than that. But the clever thing is that that electric boost can be given throughout the entire rev range at any wheel. So it is highly, highly variable. All of that power goes down with the 4MATIC system. Of course, this is all-wheel drive, and they've got AMG's best gearbox in here, which is the 9-speed wet clutch. Then the battery, let's talk about the battery again. It's a 13-odd kilowatt battery, so small for a car of this size. They claim around about 20 miles because they don't actually care about range, AMG says. The point of it is quick power delivery and quick power regeneration through the recuperation modes. Is this a good thing? It's something I really want to talk about today. So wait for the drive as we go out in a second. Then we have the most important part of this car and what makes it such an impressive performance car, and that's the AMG Ride Control Suspension Plus. Here we've got air suspension, which has got adaptive dampers, so you can control the compression and rebound at each wheel. And it does away with traditional anti-roll bars and instead has electromechanical actuators on the front and the rear to control body roll and movement to keep the car really flat and agile. We also have the benefit of rear wheel steering in the S-Class, which really helps reduce its size when you're doing quicker maneuvers. And that beautiful V8 engine, for the first time in S-Class, benefits from active engine mounts, just like we found in C63 and GT, which again is going to help keep rigid the drivetrain and make this car really good at handling. Now, two cars I want you to keep in the forefront of your mind while we're doing the driving is firstly AMG's own E53, which is a P2 hybrid car, but with an inline six. And it's a really relevant comparison to this car. And the other one you might be surprised about is BMW's M5. Which basically weighs the same as this. Again, it's a P2 hybrid car, a V8, and I think it's a really important comparison that we need to make. Now, I'm going to show you the interior very quickly, the highlights. Now, AMG touts that you can leave your house in complete silence in electric mode, as I've gone into right now, and they're absolutely right, but any AMG fan worth their salt won't do that. Life is too short, enjoy V8s while you can, right? So let's talk about the interior. Today's interior, very different to the LA test car that I had. This is the completely plain black Napa leather versus what we had there which was the marshmallow white with the gorgeous red interior with carbon fiber inlays. It was spectacular and really showed what the S-Class interior can do when you spec it right. This is more like what a lot of people will end up buying, being a safer bet. It's still very nice. You've got the diamond stitching, you've got the AMG logos in the seat, including the Affalterbach crest, you've got the classic S-Class soft pillows, everything is stitched beautifully. And the nice thing is that if you want a bit of different ambiance, you've got the incredible interactive light bar all around the car, including around the back seat, like my back, which then change the ambience of the car depending on what you want. So you change the colors and you get a completely different look even in the black interior, which is really, really nice. And this light bar is interactive. Mercedes were one of the first to do it, and it gives you a load of different interactions. Like if we're doing climate, you can see with my light bar here, it's going red or blue depending on what I'm pressing. You talk to the vocal assistant and it will start giving you a different animation there to know that it's listening. And like I said, Mercedes really have done well with this, that everybody's had to really follow suit. Now this interior has aged a lot better in the S-Class than I ever thought it did originally, even though it's spawned every single Mercedes interior since almost. And it's stuff like the unique vents, which are manual and still beautiful looking. You've got the extended trim on our front dashboard that is actually, I think, aged really well. The fit and finish, you've got still the unique 3D driver zone display, which is brilliant. It's hologram-like and gives you that effect as if it's some kind of an analog display, which is epic. All of this stuff really sets the S-Class in general apart. And then the AMG side is exactly as if you were sitting in an AMG GT. You've got all the same controls here in your driver zone. You've got everything available to you in terms of performance readouts within performance section and in track pace, so you can do all the track pace stuff as well. They've not held back on the AMG side at all. My favorite feature this week was the 4D Burmeister sound speakers, which have just been incredible. You close the doors and it's one of the best sound experiences, particularly if you're playing Dolby Atmos on here. The seats vibrate along with you, which is the 4D bit, and it's incredible if you're an audiophile, and I love it. The rear is still 100% S-Class. You've got the VIP seating, you've got your tablet display in here where you can choose which screen to control, either the left or the right, and it essentially mirrors that exact screen right here in the tablet, which is cool. You can control everything sitting back here, like the ambient lighting. You've got the massive panoramic roof. The fit and finish here is fantastic. It's really comfortable. It is total S-Class in the rear. So one more time before we head out, some revs. So inside, still 100% S-Class. Let's see if outside on the road, is it still 100% AMG? We have insane reserves of power in this new S63 Performance, seemingly limitless. In fact, so much so that it really makes the new M5 feel slow. Just how slow? Let me show you now as promised. Launch control is on, track base here in front. So 3.1 seconds, that's basically half a second quicker than the M5. And yes, this is the same weight, but it has 100 horsepower more. But it's not an E63, is it? This is an S-Class. So massively impressive on speed, and in every single scenario you get that power because of the way that the hybrid system works. In these winter months it's been really interesting trying to put down the power in this car. It's actually hilarious. It reminds me of trying to wrangle a G63, but the 4MATIC actually does a brilliant job of putting the power down on the road, as you saw from the launch control. Power alone isn't the cool thing, it's the ability to have that power throughout the rev range that really makes you feel invincible. And I think this element alone would suffice without having to go to 800 horsepower. I almost feel like the 800 horsepower is there to justify the price tag, kind of like the way Brabus does with their 1000 horsepower cars. And even if you settle down, say, into comfort mode, but keep the exhaust on, the power still feels really usable. More so in fact because you have less of it, but I would then keep the suspension Sport Plus because the handling really changes when you do that. The AMG Ride Control Plus suspension makes this handle better than the GT63 4-door, which doesn't have this system. Steering is good, confidence is high, and it really feels like you could chase the M5 all day long. And in a lot of ways, when you're driving it that way and you've got all this fantastic body control, all this power, all this speed, It kind of feels like the E63 of the modern era. It's just incredibly fast. But then you settle down into comfort and the car just becomes a normal S-Class with that perfect waftability and the ability to handle anything on the road. And that is the key part of the suspension system. Super dynamic on one side and then S-Class on the other. And then you can also go into electric mode and use it for the 2 miles of range that you have. No, I kid, it's not 2 miles, it's about 15, but really, not really that usable. But when you're in comfort, how does it drive? It drives just like S-Class, okay? And this is the great thing, is the duality of AMG, to be able to do that. But then the thing about S63 is, you do have the V8. So when you are using it properly, it sounds really, really good. Now I've really had to coax sound out of this one versus one in the USA. So I can coax and pops and bangs out of it. Obviously nowhere near as loud as the USA one. But, you know, it's louder than M5, it's louder than E53. I can't really think of any other V8 saloon at the moment, a new one that can do this. And this is the duality of S-AMG. Now, I think the problem for me on this car arrives at the price, where in the UK it's almost 190k. The previous one was around 130k, and yes, I accept inflation, but the S580e hybrid of this generation is 104k, and that just sits a level underneath this. The reason why this is happening, I think, is the P3 hybrid system. It's too advanced, it's too expensive, and it's pushing the price up of the cars that are using it to unreachable levels. And I think generally the pricing of AMG a bit too high. At this type of level, you could get like an E53 or an M5, which are P2 hybrid cars, and probably save change for a plug-in S-Class. And in all of those cars, you'll be getting over 50 miles of usable electric range as well, which is when the whole thing starts to make more sense. But then there's one undeniable side of this. This is the only V8 super saloon in the ultra luxury class, truly, that can do what this car does. There's no other. And it's one of the few V8 super saloons left that you can get your hands on as well, and none of them can do what this does in terms of luxury. And you cannot deny the performance benefits that this P3 hybrid system brings. It is literally a force to be reckoned with. But then it will do all of that as an S-Class, while it's still massaging, while you're listening to a 4D sound system in an ambience of an interior that is simply unmatched. And then, indeed, in a class where there's no other rival, because I think even the rivals know in their hearts that when it comes to S-AMG, there's no real beating it. See you guys. Huge thanks guys for always watching our videos, and a quick reminder that our limited run of the new Exhaust On or Else t-shirt is currently available on the RBR website. This is a shirt that's never been about the channel, but more about our joint passion for great combustion engines, V8 and V12 sounds, and this is an all new version with some gorgeous details, a much larger metallic logo. This has been designed by us, and we've got some lovely details everywhere, even in the packaging. And it goes from not just the material that I'm using here with the extra stretch, the muscle fit, all the details you see there, and it was all made possible because A, we designed it from the ground up, and B, it was handmade in Pakistan. So I'm really, really proud of this shirt. It's a limited run. I really want you guys to get a hold of one and wear it proudly and show the world your love for great combustion engines. And of course, we still have things like the great RBR keyring to go along with your car. Head over to the RBR website, and again, thanks for watching, and do subscribe to RBR.